This is a how-to video on changing the front brake pads and rotors on a 2004 Honda Civic. First thing you're going to want to do is jack up the vehicle, support it with a jack stand, remove the wheel, and then remove these two 12mm bolts on the back side of the brake caliper. Once you have the bolts removed for the brake caliper, it helps to pry the screwdriver in between the rotor and the caliper. Loosen it up. Set the caliper aside. Remove the brake pads. Next, you can remove the two 17mm bolts that hold on the brake caliper bracket to the steering hub. Next, you're going to want to push the piston back into the caliper. Helps to use this tool. Basically set it in there and it slowly pushes the piston back in the caliper. You could also use a pair of big pliers, or you could use a C-clamp which pinches it, slowly presses it also. Make sure it's all the way bottomed out. Next step is to simply put the new brake rotor in place. Typically, these Hondas come with two screws that help hold on the rotor to the hub while you're assembling everything. This car did not. It's not necessary to have them. Make sure these rotors are clean with brake clean before installing. You want to get all the grease from the manufacturing process off of it. Also, with the brake caliper brackets, you want to make sure these guide pins can move freely. I always take them out of the boot and add some more grease to them to make sure they're free flowing. Always inspect this boot for any kind of cracks, and if there are cracks, replace it. You can buy a brake hardware kit pretty cheap from O'Reilly's, and it's worth it, because if not, these things can seize up and cause premature brake wear, and you'll be doing the whole job again. Next, you can install the brake pads. Make sure the brake pad with the tab goes on the inside edge, inside lower edge. And then you can slide the caliper back in place. And install the two. You're going to need a 19mm crescent wrench to hold the guide pin from turning when you're tightening this 12mm bolt on the backs. You can now install the wheel, put the car back on the ground, and go test drive it. One thing you're going to need to do is go do a couple hard brake stops to help the new pads seat to the rotors.